Hello and welcome. I'm Misty. I'm a technology trainer for the Wichita Public Library. We are here in our makerspace at the Advanced Learning Library, and today we're going to learn a little bit about Cricut and what you can do with it. So this is for our beginners and people who have kind of stashed them in their closets for a couple of years. We're going to open it up and let you know what you can do with it. So let's get started with what is Cricut. Cricut is a company that produces cutting machines. They also produce different types of materials, heat presses, and all kinds of stuff. So their main mission is these home use Cricut machines. They do have a really big one where you can do mass production, but really they're just home crafting machines. So they will cut and they will draw. They do not print. So how the Cricut machines work, they all work similarly. There's lots of different ones, but basically they talk to a program called Design Space, which we will talk about later in the video. Design Space tells them if they're cutting, drawing, print then cut, whatever you're wanting to do. And it uses sensors to see the matte or smart material that you're putting it into, and also making sure you're using the correct blades in it. There's lots of different things you can do with this and lots of different blades that goes with it. So when you are first getting into Cricuting, using this for a crafting method, your biggest learning curves, I would say, would be learning how to use Design Space and your materials. The machines themselves really have very little learning curves. It's basically making sure you have the right knife blade, you're having the right pressure for the material you're using, and you're keeping it clean and updated. So there are lots of different machines. So you have the Joys, the Explore, the Maker series. So here at the library, we do have the Maker 3. This is the machine you have access to in our maker space. You can check it out, or you can set up a book of librarian with me and I can teach you how to use it. Okay, so now let's talk about your materials. So the recommended materials you should get before you start, one is your weeder. So this is one of your most important tools. This is how you get rid of all the material you don't need and you're just left with your design. Having scissors or a straight edge cutter and your scraper, you do need this to scrape along so you can transfer things with your transfer tape. So this is for permanent, removable, those types of materials. You don't need it for the heat transfer ones. They come with their own special heat safe transfer tape. The last thing is a mat. So if you are not using a Cricut Smart material, which is a thicker material with a harder backing, you are going to want to use a mat. There are 4 different types. I don't have a pink one, which is a fabric one. It's glue, makes it to where, or its stickiness makes it so that you don't get the adhesive on the fabric. But these 3 you'll see anywhere. They're all the same color. Doesn't matter what brand it is. I have a couple of different brands here. This purple one, you probably do not need. This is the strong grip one, meaning if you put paper crafts on it, you're not getting those paper crafts back off of it. So you'll kind of want to stick with these 2. So the standard grip or the light grip. And I use the light grip for almost everything. So really this is probably the only one you would need. If you need something with a little bit more stickiness, you can do it. These are also washable, so you can keep them for a very long time. A little bit of Dawn dish soap and a hard toothbrush or a soft toothbrush. Do little circles, cleans them right up. You can choose whatever material you want to use. Always think about your project first and what you're going to be using it for, and then move into getting your materials. So there's sublimation paper, there's heat transfer, stuff that you use for t-shirts and stuff like that. Just regular, permanent, or removable. So this is the smart vinyl that I was talking about. So you can see that's got that plastic thicker back rather than having a paper backing. And then you also have sticker paper. So usually this is what people are doing with the Cricut. You can do all kinds of different things with it. This is just the most common and popular. When it comes to materials, not all of them are made the same. So you can get materials from anywhere. So online, general merchandise stores, hobby stores, even the Dollar Tree now has materials you can use for crafting with your Cricut. But think about your project first. What are you going to use it for? If it's going to be outdoors, you probably don't want to use removable material because it's just going to come right off. Also, just because it says permanent does not mean it's permanent. Some of them, if you try to put it in the dishwasher, it'll just come right off. Also, your cutting could be affected with different types of materials. So this is our Wichita Public Library logo. I had it cut on this piece of material, which is just a set that I got for like $12, 96 of them, 12 by 12 sheets. And you can see that it's got a paper backing, and its vinyl is kind of on the thin side. And so what happened is it didn't stick to its backing very well, so the Cricut is just tearing it to pieces. So all of these little tiny letters and stuff like that just came right up. Now this one is the Cricut Smart material. So since its backing is more solid and the vinyl is actually thicker and has a better adhesive, it was able to do the same thing. And I know you can't see it because until it's weeded, you can't see it, but you can see that it's all flush and still attached. And this piece, I've been using it to show my classes for a really long time. So it's 2 years old and everything's still sticking down the way it is. This one, I'm losing letters every time I do a class. So just be careful on what you get. Cheaper materials are good practice materials. Always practice before you use your expensive materials. Last little bit before we move on to what can you make, do make sure the material you're buying will work with the machine you have. Since there's so many different ones, Joys are really teeny tiny, the Maker is a little bit bigger, the Explorer is about the same, and then they have a really huge one that takes really big rolls. Specifically your markers though. So the markers that fit into your Explorer and your Maker are these thinner ones. So you have the housing A and the housing B. These goes in the housing A. It will not fit markers like this. So this is just a permanent marker and it won't fit into the housing. Also, the Joy markers made specifically for those machines are thicker even than the Sharpie, and so they will not go into your Explorers and your Makers.
All right, what is Design Space? So Design Space is the program that runs your Cricut machines. To get Design Space, it's just a really easy download. Design.cricut.com will get you there, and then you can just choose whatever machine you're using. If you don't have a machine yet, don't worry, just choose one. I agree to the Cricut terms and hit download. So that would be good for your Windows computers and your Apple computers. Design Space is also available for iPhones, iPad, and Android devices. Getting into Design Space, all you need to do is make an account and you have a free account to use Design Space. So Design Space is the program that you will use to get all of your designs ready to be cut, drawn, or print and cut. Design Space will only talk to Cricut machines, and Cricut machines will only talk to Design Space. So if you have a Silhouette machine or a Brother machine or Silhouette Studio, they do not talk to each other. You have to keep your brands together. One other thing to think about is you have access to Cricut Access, which is a monthly subscription that you can get to get items, fonts, different things for free. So just be careful of these little A's if you stick with the free account, because it'll let you put it on your canvas and do all of your design work, size it, get it ready, and it will not tell you until you get your cut screen that you will have to pay for it. So just watch out for that. Now you do have the capability of putting your own designs into Design Space and cutting them, drawing them, or doing print and cut. Just know that when you are cutting out particular designs or detailed designs, SVG is the file type you're going to want. It's a scalable vector graphic. If you need more information about it, just book a librarian and we can get you comfortable with it.
So what can you make with this machine? Well, let your imagination run wild. As long as you know that it's just a cutting machine and it can draw, you can really do anything, like make t-shirts. So we do have a t-shirt press here in the makerspace that you can use and practice with. We also have a mug press that you can make mugs with. You can make signage. Your horizon's bright, so whatever you think of, do it. The last bit of information I'll part with you is the two other things that you will doing a lot: weeding, because as you've seen several times, your material comes in sheets. So you have to get rid of all of the material that you won't be using and leaving your design. So always think about, if you're a beginner, how hard things are going to be weeding. The weeding process is very simple for this particular project, but it's not the same for all of them. Also, your transfer tape. So transfer tape is for your removable and your permanent and other types of materials that are not heat transfer materials. So you have your piece, you put it over your design, and you use it to transfer it to whatever blank is what they're called. So whatever you're going to put that design on. It also helps you keep your design in place. So instead of using them like a sticker, you use that transfer tape, because you also don't want to touch the bottom of your material. You could get oils, dirt, all kinds of stuff on it, and it won't stick to what you want for as long as you want it or at all. So be careful with that. Now, heat transfer already comes on a heat-safe plastic, so you don't have to worry about that. Thank you for joining me on this journey of learning what is Cricut. With your library card, the equipment here in our makerspace at the Advanced Learning Library is free for you to use, so please come and explore and make stuff. You can find more information about that on our website, wichitalibrary.org. You can also sign up for classes with me at that website. The technology trainers are available to you to make a book a librarian appointment for technology needs. Just call 316-261-8500.